What's going on, decision makers? I'm Joshua Daniels, the host of the Just a Decision podcast.
And I'm Edgar Rosari, the founder of LFTD Social Club. We're here tonight for the annual rap experience where we rally our community and anyone that's part of it, beyond members, come together for an experience that is centered around a cause for the holidays, get everyone in the spirit, just connecting, meeting new people, and having a good time. And tonight we want to have a conversation that talks about when things aren't going as great as you think. How do you still stay focused and intentional about the dreams and goals that you have? And so why not partner with Just a Decision for this kind of experience? So here we are.
Thanks, Edgar. And so happy holidays from our family to yours. Hope you enjoy the conversation. So when someone says the word Christmas, what's the first thing you think of?
Presents, snow, Christmas trees, families, food, and dark.
Joy.
Religion, Christian, the birth of Jesus.
When somebody told me about Christmas, I thinking the first thing is about Jesus. He born to change our life.
Yeah.
He had to born a baby to become a man to give his salvation to us.
The sacrifice that Jesus made on the cross for us.
I think about the birth of Christ.
Christ.
Okay, cool.
That's kind of what I think of. My faith is like a really important part of my life. And I think God is the epicenter of creativity, of joy, of peace, abundance, of wealth. I get to tap into that. And this is just a reminder that this holiday, it's just not about this holiday, but it does remind me during this time, like, hey, how can I be the best version of myself? And birth that. So
Also, Christmas is very special, and it's my favorite holiday because my daughter was born on Christmas.
Wow.
And I truly love what it signifies because she was my miracle baby.
It made me think in unity because that's what Christmas is mean. Unity, love, peace, thinking others. Stop, we always very busy people in the world. It's the moment when you stop and you say, I want to engage with people. I want to know people better. I want to hear people. It's the time of the year. That's why it's the more wonderful time of the year.
Personally, I've gone through a lot in my life, and Jesus completely transformed my life last year, especially with like what I've been through with alcoholism and weed addiction and stuff like that. Like, no other thought when it comes to Christmas besides Jesus. Santa and the gifts and all that is just like, it's kind of back burner for me.
Well, a lot of people just make Christmas, just go on shopping and just having a good time. They think about the good times and they don't really think about the birth of Christ, which is the real reason why we're here.
Yeah.
And so that's, even though I do celebrate Christmas, with my family, but to me, Christ is first.
I feel like it's a season where the environment naturally makes you feel joyful. All the lights, people bonding, families coming together, friends coming together. I feel like there's a lot of just unity and togetherness, which gives me just like a sense of joy and kind of peace and happiness.
What's a challenge you faced recently that taught you something valuable about yourself?
So on July 7th, 2024, at 9:30-ish p.m. on a Sunday night, I was mopping my hallway floor and I fell. I had a slip and fall accident. I fell down the steps at home and I broke my ankle. It was a really bad injury where I spent 6 days at Cooper Hospital. Then I had to move to a rehab facility. I had surgery. I have a plate and 10 screws in my ankle. And the biggest lesson that I learned through this journey that I am still processing and living is that if you don't have God and if you don't have the mindset of patience, perseverance, and faith, you don't have anything. And it taught me that pain can be something that is life-changing, but at the same time, it teaches you about life. It teaches you about your faith. It got me closer to God. and closer to my family and friends, and to appreciate and be grateful and thankful for everything that God has given us, and to be thankful also for medicine, technology, the medical profession, and everyone who has been there for me through this journey, because trust me, it was difficult.
Mm.
This was like the hardest thing that I've ever had to do in life, and it was a test. It was a test from God. It taught me to slow down and to stop stressing and to appreciate the smallest things. And I've grown from this journey. I can't say I'm happy that it happened to me, but I can say that it has taught me a valuable lesson, that life is precious.
Mm.
And you know the saying, life is short. Yes, we all know that life is short, but it's what you make of it.
Yeah.
So for me, this year was a unique year where a lot of and I'm gonna make this more about work, if that's all right.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, cool.
Your time.
Yeah, a lot of kind of like the economic landscape shifted a lot. A lot of what I do is tied to company spend, where they're investing when it comes to marketing and campaigns and larger initiatives. And basically the whole trajectory of that industry shifted the last year and a half.
Mhm.
And it really made it about, okay, like, do you just give in? Do you just stand back and whatever comes and you just work with that? Or how do you get creative and how do you get proactive and how do you get aggressive and finding solutions and finding a new route? And so that made me have to, one, become more patient, because I do a lot more work for a lot less than what I would usually get. Whereas like before in the economic landscape that we were at, everything kind of just came in, right? Where it's kind of like, it's just a matter of like how good you are in terms of negotiating the final deal, versus like when you have to go get deals done and you have to work really hard and aggressive, and out of 50, maybe like 2 or 3 hit. And those 2 or 3, you're still not eating off of those. So you have to then go, you got to keep that cycle going and going and going and going. And it just never stops. And so I think this year really kind of showed me how tenacious I could be, but also like how positive you could be within that, right? Where it's like, even though the landscape looks a lot more difficult and the outcome is not what it's typically, what are the positives within that, right? Like, you start to realize you before you used to say like, oh, I'm lucky to be able to do this, right? And of course you're lucky to be able to do this and you're happy to be able to do this when everything comes in so easily. But when it becomes more difficult and you got to work a lot more harder for it and the end result isn't as lucrative as it once was, what does that, like, do you still feel the same way?
Yeah.
And do you still approach it the same way? And so I think that for me is a big thing that I got from this year of like, it allowed me to like take a step back and realize like what really does matter. And then also allowed me to realize like the joy in the little things, and then just being consistent every day, showing up every single day, regardless of what the dynamics look like from one year to the other. If you keep showing up every single day, it's amazing how solutions start to pop up, doors start to open, things start to flow in. Yeah, so I think that is the challenge. And I think the lesson from it all was like, we're just really being appreciative of every single thing that you have, because they can get cut quickly, like from one year to the other. And then that's where you start to realize like, one, I'm super appreciative for what I have. But two, you also start to like disconnect yourself from a lot of the self-worth that comes from monetary, I don't know, what do you call
Values?
it? Yeah, monetary values or dollar amounts or things like that. And it goes to show you like what really matters. Like what is really connected to me and what do I really feel fulfilled in and what is really my worth. And then everything else is second nature from that.
Next one. If you had to describe your life philosophy in one sentence, what would that sentence be?
Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. He's amazing.
Cool.
I don't think there's a better sentence, honestly.
Yeah.
He's able to transform. He's able to save. And if there's only like, if I could literally only say one sentence to a random person on the street, I would definitely say that to them, because I know that's a planted seed and that it could change their life one day.
Cool. I heard what you said in the beginning. How do you balance staying true to yourself while adapting to the changes around you?
Yeah, I feel like I make a lot of all my content is Christian content.
Okay.
So I'm very well disciplined in that aspect. So I think obviously taking what I go through in my life as well as the people around me and things like that, and kind of just seeing what the Bible says about it.
Hmm.
Like for example, one of my things was like when I became a Christian, I was like, all right, do I have to like leave all my friends behind?
Mhm.
Like, do I stop talking to my friends because they're living in sin still, and I want to be different from that, or I can't even be in those environments yet and
Mhm.
stay true to my foundation? And when I saw that in the Bible, like Jesus sat with sinners, he just didn't sin with them. And I think that was great for me because it allowed me to still be loving, still be caring, still be there for my friends to be like, hey guys, I love you, you're my boys, but no, I'm not going to the bar tonight. I don't want to get drunk with you guys tonight. I'll be here when you guys get home. And I think that's great because it allows you to have a foundation as well as show people the change in you in my aspect because I was always the one in my friend group like, yo, let's go to the bar. Like it's a Tuesday night. Yo, I want tacos and a beer. Let's go. And I think once they saw me slowly but surely reading my Bible more and working towards being more like Christ, and now they're asking me, yo, do you want to go to the bar? And I'm like, yeah, I'll go, but I'm not drinking. And then it got to a point where it's like, no, I'm not going at all. And I think if you don't have any sort of foundation or you don't know where your identity is rooted in, you'll have a big problem adjusting to changing your life because it'll feel like it's like smacking you right in the face. Because I love to say this about my parents because I feel like me and my parents have a really big work in progress relationship. But when it comes to them, it's their first time living too, just like it's my first time and your first time. And I think if we don't have a foundation, life does smack us in the face because it's like, all right, I've never faced this before. How do I deal with it? And I think that's where my faith is so deeply rooted because there's literally perfect examples in the Bible of what we go through in our everyday lives. And you can ultimately be like, okay, how did they deal with that in this situation? And when you see that, it helps. It gives you like almost a path to follow in a way.
What keeps you excited about life?
Oh, everything. Every day is good, no matter what. Wake up every day is a bless.
Mhm.
It's a bless. It change your life. You say, God, thank you for this opportunity in this day. Thank you because it's a new day. It's a new opportunity to make the difference in people's life, to be better, to achieve things. It's beautiful.
Cool.
Yeah.
Who or what has been the biggest influence on your journey in life thus far?
There's no one person.
Mm.
I want to say one person. I
Takes
think
a
there's
village.
one person for many different areas of life. Like I have someone that has really influenced me in my career. I have someone who's really influenced me in like my spiritual life. Someone that's really influenced me even in my fitness life.
Mm.
Being with a friend recently made me realize, man, I'm not challenging myself enough. Like, and hence why I'm training for a marathon. So I think there's many people that have influenced me. It depends what area of life you're talking about. And I think that's the beauty of community. That's the beauty of friendship. That's the beauty of like having people around you. When you're at your lowest place in life, you technically want to be by yourself. And if you think that's healthy, but it's not.
Yeah.
And so even when you're at your lowest place, you're reminding yourself that like, hey, there's always like some remedy in being with someone.
Mm.
Find that person. So there's not one person.
What's one person in life that you could spend a day with and why?
I could spend a day. Well, I think about my father as, my number one option because he's just an entertaining person. He just gives me that that joy, that love. You know what I mean? That fatherly figure stuff. Second will be my sister, which is, his youngest daughter. Because, she's a teenager now and it's like her mind is changing and she hasn't changed too much where I'm like, yo, bro, like, what you doing? She's just like, yo, can we just hang out? We could drive around, stuff like that. It's like, yeah, we could do that. And, she inspires me to, like, be a good parent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, they're definitely, like, the top two.
Cool.
For me, it'll be, I don't want to give a cliche answer, but it'll be Warren Buffett. It has nothing to do with the money that he's obtained. It has nothing to do with the businesses he's built. It has everything to do with his principles and values and character, right? Principles, value, and character supersede anything. This is a man that is worth over $100 billion and still lives in the same house he bought for $30,000 way back in the 60s. This is a guy that drives the same car for the last 20 years. This is a guy that eats at McDonald's every single day and only drinks Coke. So for him, it's not a money game. For him, it's the intellectual challenge first and foremost, which is awesome. But outside of that, the amount of nuggets and wisdom that he consistently gives, and by the way, he's very contrarian in everything that he does, right? Like everyone wants to live on Wall Street, be in New York City. He said, no, I'm going to go to Omaha, Nebraska, and that's where I'm going to sit, and that's where I'm going to live. Everyone wants to be in meetings and be the face of finance and be the cool guy. He sits in his office for 9-10 hours a day, and all he does is just read 10Ks and financial statements in his office by himself, has no cell phone, has no laptop. So everything he's done has been contrarian, and it's all been based off his principles, right? His principles are principles that are based on selflessness, that are based on wisdom, that are based on not pursuing greed and where everyone is going, but looking at things from a different angle, and thoroughness. And for me, I think taking those principles, you can apply that to anything you do, right? You don't have to be in finance, you don't have to be in investing, but you can apply those same principles in your career, in your relationships, in your health and fitness and wellness, and basically operate from a set of like, these are my principles, and they don't have to be the same as his by no means. But I think it's just inspiring to see someone that has lived out their principles for the last 50 plus years and has stuck to their strategy and their format for 50 plus years, and seeing what that's led for that individual success wise. And now you just replicate that and do it in whatever area that you do it in. And it'd be incredible what that leads to. And he's not the only one. There's another one, Ray Dalio. He's also big on principles. And so it's just, I admire individuals that have built something successful, but have done it from a set core of principles that are not tied to money and influence and power. All of that stuff is second nature. It'll come when it comes, but it's more so how you're true to yourself and how you operate within that, and helping and using that and leading that into the decisions you make.
Cool. I like that word, decisions. How do you stay motivated when you're going through a troubled time?
Well, definitely a lot of praying, faith, going to church, Bible study, being around people that are positive and uplifting, and knowing my self-worth, knowing my value, and knowing that I'm here on this earth because I have a message. I have the power to change lives, and my experiences, whether it's life experiences or work experiences as an educator, I need to stay motivated because I am that one individual that can help others and be the catalyst for people to change their own lives. And a prime example is as a 30-year educator in urban education in Camden and in Philadelphia, and now as CEO of my own education consulting company, both in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. I have to stay motivated because my passion and everything that I know, my experiences, I have to share that with others. I can't be the gatekeeper of all this knowledge. I can't be the gatekeeper and keep everything just to me when I know that I can empower others and I can do things to help other people succeed in whatever they want to do in life.
Because I'm very positive and I see the bright side of things, and I know no matter what and how bad things can get, you can always get through if you have a positive outlook of life.
Well, I'm super ambitious. I'm motivated, so I try to strive for what I want.
Okay.
So if you tell me that I can't get somewhere without doing A, B, and C, well, I'm going to go through A, B, and C. Doesn't matter how many times I have to go through A, B, and C, I'm going to go through it until I get, what I'm desired.
Whatever is bad in the moment is because instead that you see the bad things in life, is good what I can learn from this moment. What it can teach me this moment, it's going to be better. I always say when it's rain, always the sun came. That's my thing. Today rain, but tomorrow the sun is coming and everything is going to be okay. Always maintain a positive attitude no matter what. Yeah.
Cool.
With
Thank
the
you.
faith, God.
That's easy.
That is so
that's it. Only 3 questions.